Alright guys, feeling here. I decided to go one more episode for Persona 5 Strikers, especially because I'm not probably going to record again until tomorrow night, so yeah, go another episode.
I was shocked
I was
to
going
get
to
an
listen to the
apology out of
circle
Savannah, who has previously
recap.
been so not self-involved, so reflective and self-aware.
They had a whole conversation together right before the blocking, and it definitely felt very cordial. It felt like they both wanted to reconcile. Savannah says they left a snake in the game, and you know what? There are multiple snakes for that matter. And this wasn't even like the way she worded it wasn't even like dramatic. It was just but there are actually multiple snakes. And if somebody says they have your back, don't believe them. I was like, okay.
Adding the multiple snakes just makes it less effective because it makes it sound like, yeah, you got blocked. Obviously, there were two people involved in that decision. So, like, instead of it being like, ooh, one person is playing you all, which, maybe people might consider, it just reads as bitter and just like, you all lied to me and you're all snakes.
It's just like, it was like she didn't even, did you even prepare Savannah? Because she started with, there's one snake, and then but actually there are more than one snake. It's like, no, you gotta have a consistent message here.
The circle is full of two things, snakes and more snakes.
Yes, so don't believe someone if they say they have your back. Courtney is then they're gonna open up the circle chat afterwards to talk about the goodbye message. Courtney is not going to admit that Savannah saw him. Now, I would imagine that for the most part here, most people are going to assume that Savannah either saw Trevor or Courtney. Some of them think, well, maybe it was possibly Terralisha, but obviously Trevor and Terralisha both say, wasn't me. And so nobody's owning up to it. And this is again something that I feel like we don't see often enough, which is people actually asking, and when nobody admits it, like, oh, well, we should try to figure it out. Normally that just gets swept under the rug, and we just assume that they had this conversation.
I don't feel like, especially in the second week, I don't feel like there's that much benefit to lying, because it's not like people have any idea that Courtney would have gotten the power from it.
Well, so his explanation for why he wants to hide it is that he got information from Savannah in terms of like her conversations, and like basically he has no reason to not believe her once she's out of the game and comes and visits him. So he will have gotten all of her information and will be poisoned against whoever she was against.
But everybody already knows who she's against.
Right, so I think for Courtney it's like, okay, Terralisha tried to convince me that she wasn't trying to block me. I pretended like Savannah hadn't told me that she was trying to block me. If Terralisha knows that Savannah came to see me, then she'll know that I will have cross-referenced, and, I'll have to explain that, or I'll have to lie about it, or, I'll have that information. She might think that I'm more against her than I want her to think.
I think that this is not the play here. I think it's too early, and I also think that if it's Courtney's word against Trevor's, who is the other person that people are considering, I think Trevor is more trusted in the house.
It seems that way. It's hard to know exactly where Courtney lies, because Courtney seems to have a relationship with River, who is very pro-Terralisha and anti-Savannah, but Courtney was the complete opposite. It's almost like they don't know that the other one is, stumping for the other side. So it's hard to know exactly where they see everyone's loyalty lying. But it's a tough call. I think there's reason to deny this if it's believable. From our perspective, it's not very believable, but it might be from their perspective. It's hard to know.
It could be. He was also the one that brought it up.
That is true. That is the biggest giveaway in the circle, is that the people lying are often the ones being like, I wonder who she went to go see, because it definitely wasn't me.
Yeah, because I can't imagine being the one to bring that up if, it wasn't me. I don't know if I care that much to make it a point of conversation, because, I don't know. I feel like I would never want to start conversations, period, but especially if you're going to start it just to lie.
This is also going to, I don't know if this is what starts it or if this was already out there, but Terralisha says, essentially, thank you for not blocking me, thank you for saving me. I can't wait to let people see the real me. And I think from her perspective, it's like, you know, the real me because I've been dragged down in this drama, and that's not who I am. I'm a separate person where I'm not having to deal with that. But it seems like everyone takes this to mean, yeah, we knew it. She's a catfish. She's the real her, the catfish her. Ha ha.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that's like you're picking up on kind of whatever you want. Like, Chloe has decided that Terralisha is a catfish, and so she's just taking anything. It's like, but if you're a real person, then why would you say the real me, even though everybody all the time is using phrasing like that? Just like, so glad we got to connect, girly, and you know the real me. That's like how everybody talks in the circle all the time.
Yeah, I can't wait for the audience to see the real me.
Yeah.
On this other podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm catfishing in the Circle podcasts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's like a certain set of lingo that everybody uses, and I feel like people pick up on little things. I also, just to go back to something from the first batch of episodes, like, I think it's so funny when people identify somebody as a catfish for a really stupid reason. Like when Trevor was like, oh, Emily's a guy because she knows sports.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it looks like, ooh, super perceptive, but actually that's just you being dumb because girls can know sports.
All right. Well, so again, I don't know if it's this comment that made people think that Terralisha might be a catfish, or if they were already suspecting it. From the episode perspective, it seems like this is the first time we're hearing that they think that she may be a catfish. But the suspicion is definitely there. We're going to hear multiple times throughout the episode people suspecting that Terralisha might be a catfish. Then we are introduced to our two new players. First is Mitchell. Mitchell is actually the brother and son of, you know what, I don't even know the mom's name. Ed and his mom.
I never knew Ed's mom's name.
Tammy.
On season 1, who came in very late in the game. I think they made it to the final because of that, right? Or were they the last block before the final? I don't even remember.
I don't know. They did badly.
Yeah, they did not do well. But I mean, like, the last person to come in is never really going to do well. But Mitchell says they embarrassed him.
So, Mitchell, I would have thought immediately that he was related to Ed, not because of their looks, but because he said he was from Conshohocken, from Delaware County. And I didn't even remember that it was Ed on the Circle, but I was like, wasn't there recently somebody on a reality show that had a southern accent despite being from Philadelphia? And it was Ed, because I thought it was so weird because my dad is from Conshohocken and he doesn't sound like that at all. And I remember thinking, why does he sound southern even though he's from Conshohocken? And this guy, I had the exact same thought.
Which, by the way, yeah, I definitely enjoyed this batch of 4 episodes.
Whatever weird melange of cultures they have in the house, it produced a very non-Philadelphia accent, at least to me. Also, why did he put his hometown as Miami?
I don't know, but I think Ed is going to be on another show now. So you know, it's I think I heard that.
What show?
It's maybe The Challenge. I feel like I heard. I'm not sure. But it's are these going to be the new Calafieri brothers?
Well, this guy kind of looks like Polly.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mitchell, not Eddie. But
I don't know.
Holy Calafieri.
Yeah, I do
take
think
over the reality TV world by storm.
I think Mitch has a little more personality than the Califieris.
It feels like Mitch has at least a lot more personality than Ed. But Ed was with his mom the whole time, to be fair.
I think Ed had
a lot of personality.
Yeah, Ed had a lot of
I just don't
personality.
think it was necessarily a good personality.
Yeah, he's like a really big douchey, like, bro
He says
guy.
that he gets along well with the ladies. However, he is a virgin.
Yeah, interesting timing. Last time we had a conventionally hot blonde virgin on reality television, some drama went down. He just came out as gay, so.
Don't
You didn't hear about Colton?
No.
The listeners will know. A bachelor just came out as
Bachelor.
gay.
There you go.
And his big thing before that was that he was a virgin.
Well, Mitchell, he is a virgin. He gets along well with the ladies, though. Doesn't want to use his like Instagram photo that's black and white. He instead thinks, you know what's gonna really be a hit? A gym selfie.
Yeah, everybody loves gym selfies. It's universally something that everybody says. I bet that guy has a lot of depth. And he's someone that I would definitely want to talk to. I mean, he's somebody that, like,
No shit.
even if I just saw him on Tinder, I would think was a catfish. Because I don't think
I really
he's that
don't
hot
give
to
a
me
shit about
personally,
this,
but I can see him being sort of a
this,
universally,
whatever.
generically
Palace.
hot guy that if you
Jail.
Googled, like, hot guy would come up. So I feel like
Yeah.
even if I just saw any of these pictures on Tinder, even just the gym selfie that he chose, I would swipe left just because I assumed he was not real. So I don't know if that's the strategy you want to go into the circle with.
Well, there you go.
Looking like you have a face that isn't real.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he does look so there's not a lot you can do, I think, when it comes to your photos.
Well, he should have photos that have like more,
Yeah.
that just look more real.
Yeah, just like more like, you know, maybe with like some family.
Yeah, with a mom, with a cat.
Yeah, a mom and a brother with a beard.
I wonder if
Oh yeah, I guess he can't do it with his mom. Well, I guess if you could be Lance Bass or you could be on Too Hot to Handle, why not catfish as just your brother and your mom again?
Honestly, if he said, yeah, I'm the brother of Ed from season 1, who in the world would catfish as the brother of Ed in season 1? He would be instantly verified as real.
They would all, but then they would all be like, ooh, so he's got like the inside tips. Ooh, he already knows about the
from
circle
Ed and his
world.
mom, who
Yeah.
was there for like 2 days.
The all-star strategic powerhouses.
Our other new player here is Kat. She's a pro volleyball player. 6'7" in shoes, she said.
Just to top that wrong.
She's a gentle giant with a southern drawl.
How awful.
Yeah, and also puts that her relationship status is complicated, which if I have very little character space on the circle for my bio, I would not put that.
Yeah, she says, being a pro athlete is not who I am, but what I do. If you're not having a good time, it's because I'm not there. Relationship status, complicated. Which I heard her say her reasoning, but I did not understand it.
She said it puts her in both camps. It means so like
Yeah.
people can still, I guess what she's going for is like people can still flirt with her, but people who are booed up will like be able to relate to her. What it does is put you in neither camp.
Yeah.
That's what
Where
I figured.
now single people don't want to flirt with you, and the married people can't really relate to you.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it. It's the complicated status is just like, why are you advertising that?
And it's not true. It's a weird thing to make up. Taryn, how tall are you in shoes?
What?
In shoes, probably 6'5". I don't know.
Wow, those are some
Depends
tall
on how big
shoes.
the shoes are.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Let's go.
exactly. But I just kind of wanted to get a range of how tall your shoes are.
I'm trying to think of like how tall could my shoes possibly be before they become stilts. Right?
Well,
What is the threshold?
well, stilettos aren't stilts, but they still make you taller.
So how tall are stilettos?
See.
Well, it depends. I wouldn't go
Oh
more
my god,
than
this is a
5
fucking
inches,
long
but some people
conversation.
do.
Too tired to bother
But I'm
this.
also I'm very short, so I wear those regularly. But if you're already tall, then I don't know. Maybe
just a
stilts are
quest.
a move, a power move.
Yeah, I can see it. So they're going to take a look
Did I buy
at
that already?
the other
Oh,
players,
sorry.
the existing players' profiles. You know what? I really like Kat. I love her energy. She's
I really
so
like
just
Kat.
like enthusiastic and positive about the experience. I really enjoy her, and I loved right away because it was a very similar reaction to the one that I had when I first saw Lance in the preview. She was like, "Don't play with me, Lance. And I was like, don't play with me, Circle. So like, she's like, this is not Lance Bass.
Taryn, do you know who Lance Bass is?
I did know who Lance Bass was. Yes.
Wow. Would you have known just based on his photo?
I don't know. Maybe, I think so, but I can't say for certain.
But if you were on the circle and you saw the photo and you saw Lance, you would know it was Lance.
Yeah, photo and Lance for sure.
Wow.
Just photo.
It's an interesting. Lance Bass is a very interesting person because we're getting a weird split of people who seem to know who he is
Mothman.
and people who don't. Because I would not think that being British would be a barrier to knowing who Lance Bass is, but I think that maybe it's that she's 21. Is that she doesn't know who Lance Bass is? And this guy, Mitchell, who comes in, he's 22 and he doesn't know who Lance Bass is.
Yeah, Mitchell does not know. I don't know, like, I feel like for some reason, and I haven't even looked into this, but, like, Lance Bass has been on reality shows or has been associated with reality TV in some way before. Maybe it was Big Brother 17 when they had, like, the punishment where they had to dance and stuff, like they were in sync. Maybe like Lance Bass commented on it or something, but I remember Lance Bass having something to do with Big Brother at one point in time, and that's why I felt like I knew for sure who he was. But
I'm just thinking that maybe this is one of those things where the cutoff is like right below me, because I'm 25 and I don't think any of my friends would not know who. I think all of my friends know who Lance Bass is. So maybe it's like if you're 23 and below. I don't know.
See, I'm looking at, I just Googled Lance Bass Big Brother, and he did an interview with Big Jeff in 2015.
Yeah, he's a big Brother fan.
Talking about Big Brother. That must be where it is.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Wait, does he not know that Lance Bass is like a prolific Big Brother and Survivor
fan? I just want to make sure I say that. Loved her immediately. Loved her energy.
Yes. So they look at some of the other profiles. Kat immediately thinks that Emily is a dude.
Why does she think that?
I don't know. Just overall vibe. It wasn't. It wasn't the Trevor call, which is. Girls don't know sports. It was just like, this sounds like a dude. Which, because again, like I talked about this in the previous recap, but like, there's a difference to me between like, I think
we have a
Emily
Jack
is
Frost
dude because she knows sports, and we think Trevor's a dude because he's trying way too hard with # plus I'm a fun guy. So it might just she may have just felt like, this is trying too hard, but hard to say.
I do think catfishing as the same gender is a safe plan because no one seems to have suspected River yet. And it seems like there is a much wider chasm between who River is as a person and who, I think his name is Lee, who he is, and yet no one suspects it. Even though Lee is using hashtags that nobody's ever heard of, like that no person River's age would use, he's playing... I mean, I guess he's still playing River as gay, but River in real life is not gay. Whereas Emily and Jack have a ton in common, right? They go to the same school, they're the same age, like they're theoretically friends, according to him. But just little intricacies that people are so dialed into gender in a way that they aren't, I think, to age. That people just, if you do not, this is true of life, but if you don't perform gender perfectly, it sets alarm bells off for people, which is also why I think a lot of the time there's a lot of gay contestants on the circle, and I think they do pretty well because if they talk like a girl or something, nobody's going to suspect it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like...
Wait, let's make sure...
but you know what? Freddie in season 1 played it straight. That was his whole thing. And they thought that he was a catfish. Because I was trying to think of gay contestants that people thought were catfish, and Freddie tried to...
I don't remember Freddie at all from season 1 of Netflix.
No, sorry, the UK.
Okay, I was like, now I'm starting to get legitimately worried that I don't remember this person.
But I do think what you're saying is true, although I think that it's easier for an older person to play a younger person than it is for a younger person to play an older person. I think that older players on the circle also have a layer of scrutiny on them that they need to perform that well as well. And if they don't, then they're easily caught if you try to play an older character. And is sort of what we've seen on the circle. But definitely, I think the thing that people look out for most is the gender swapping. And I think that's maybe in part because I think the society, the notion of a catfish is often one where like the gender has been swapped, right?
Yeah, and it's also because the last thing that a dude wants to do on this show is accidentally, a straight dude wants to do on this show is accidentally hit on a guy.
Yeah, well, that's gonna happen a lot.
Yes.
Speaking of, Mitchell really likes what he sees from Emily's profile. Kat is going to recognize Chloe from Too Hot to Handle. He's a little bit suspicious here at first.
Who knew Too Hot to Handle had so much recognizability?
You know, I guess if you know of the circle enough to apply to the circle, that means you watch Netflix reality shows, right? So.
No,
I guess. I would not have recognized her.
I know I didn't, but she does think that River is real. She's very intuitive, and she gets a very real vibe.
Alright, let's just see. I think we'll keep that on him.
I mean, River is real in that he exists, and I follow him on Instagram.
There you go.
The real River.
What's the real River like?
He posts stories sometimes, but he hasn't made a post in a while, so it's really hard to figure out if he and his girlfriend are actually broken up, if that was real. I couldn't tell, like, what Lee was saying about his, like, recent breakup.
I think Lee was tapping into a previous experience when he was younger.
Okay, well, River hasn't posted a picture of his girlfriend since November, so, you know, we'll see.
Alright,
Opportunity to talk to each other, or at least it seems like they will, prior to entering the
I guess we'll go back.
That is when the Joker arrives. And this is Courtney, and this was interesting to me. They were told that they are not allowed to reveal anything about the Joker until the Joker leaves the circle. So I imagine what this means is they are not allowed to tell anybody that they spoke to a Joker. They're not allowed to talk to other people to try to figure out who the Joker is by mentioning the Joker. And so they have to, and I think they're not even allowed to say, I was told, you know, that Tara Alicia is a snake or whatever, right? That they have to keep that information completely to themselves until Courtney is blocked from the circle, at which point maybe he will reveal that he was the Joker, or they will reveal that he was the Joker or something. But definitely an interesting little twist on this.
Yeah, it also has sort of a mystery component where, like, if Emily does go home, they'll know
I'm an
that
idiot.
she wasn't
We
the
can fast
Joker,
travel, can't we?
Because they would assume that they would be told. So, yeah, it's an interesting wrinkle. I think the Joker doesn't really make sense as a metaphor because there's no other card metaphors in the circle. So I don't know what they would have gone with instead, the square. But
Not
yeah,
the square.
yeah.
We don't do those in the circle.
I know. So the symbolism is a little clunky for me, but whatever. It's an interesting enough wrinkle in that I don't think that this will matter too much, especially because Courtney is trying to convince him that he's Emily when he should realize that Emily is going to be pretty appealing to Mitchell. So I don't know. Maybe Courtney assumed that Mitchell was maybe gay or something. But I feel like don't go in.
Oh, fuck.
As like trying to throw the hot girl under the bus if you're talking to someone like Mitchell.
Yeah, see, for me, I think that the strategy here for Courtney needs to entirely be about making sure that this doesn't lead back to him, unless he is just very nice, right? Like, because the whole notion of a Joker, like, just feels very negative. Feels like you're playing with us. Like this is, it's anonymous. You know. I think that Courtney has one of two options. Either, hey guys, welcome to the circle. Oh my god, it's so great that you're here. Like, sorry I don't have any like tea to spill for you or anything like that. But you know, I hope that you guys guys get along well. Like, here are some of the people that I think are great.
I was gonna say, you can spill tea and be like, this person is a real one.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
trust this person.
Yeah.
And that still benefits you as much as getting them to distrust somebody else.
Exactly. And
Oh my
that
god,
way,
this game's
you know,
fucking
if
broken.
they suspect it's you, you left a positive impression on them, and you're not lying to them by being like, "Ooh, I'm hiding it so that you can't talk about it," but you both kind of know. That's like a good way to make an out, I think. The other way is to try to poison them against other people, but if you do that, I think that it's more likely to fail because you're anonymous. So if you try to poison them against other people, I think they're more
this is
likely
the
to
way?
distrust you, the people you just tried to make them distrust. And so they're going to be searching for who is the Joker, and that's why I
That should
feel
be
like
it,
if
right?
you tried to be like, okay, I'm going to pretend to be somebody else.
Oh, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be.
However, you know, the opening with the emoji trying to sound like, trying to sound like a girl,
No, why not?
as
Okay.
they say, and it certainly seemed Kat at the end of this was like, this is Emily, but why would Emily throw Chloe and Terralicia under the bus once they get to know Emily and know
let's
her,
upset
where
her
her
plans.
loyalties are? Why would Emily so openly...
Alright, guys.
Alright.
you know, text like a girl if she was trying to do something very sneaky and hide her identity. If they ever get the true story of what went down with Savannah, which it seems like they might, then they're probably going to start looking toward, okay, well, who are Savannah's allies, who might be pissed at Terralicia, Chloe, and maybe Emily, trying to frame Emily. So I feel like you really left a trail that they could follow if they're smart enough. And I think that's a little risky.
Yeah. I wouldn't hate that. I think going in, if you're Courtney and just immediately trying to get all of the women out is not a great look. I don't care for that at all. But I understand his girl Savannah is out, so he's doing whatever he can. But yeah, I mean, frankly, he probably didn't have a lot of time to think about this. But either way, yeah, I think that it was a little too much, trying too hard to sound like somebody specific. But I mean, it is really hard to put yourself in the shoes of these new players who may not be able to follow it just because they're going to get so much information so fast.
And, you know, you never know. It absolutely could work. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Support for this podcast comes from JCPenney.
Don't care.
All right, at this point.
A game called Two-Faced. This is not the most interesting game in the world here. We just hear that Trevor thinks there's a complete disconnect between Emily's pictures and her personality. Trevor still really thinks that Emily is a catfish. But River seems very real based on River's photos. Everyone thinks River is real. And Terralicia's photos have Instagram filters. People hate those on Circle.
First of all, who still uses Snapchat filters? Who still uses Snapchat?
Oh, I thought these were Instagram filters. These are Snapchat.
I think the one on the left is a Snapchat filter.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe it was an Instagram filter, but it looked like a Snapchat filter to me.
You would know better than I.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't used Snapchat in like 2 years, but I think that's what that was. And the one on the right, yeah, she looked like a painting. Like she was like glowing in the light and didn't look like a person. I don't think that's an indication of being a catfish. I just think that's like bad photo choice. Nobody likes that.
Yeah, honestly, I think we might have talked about this last season, but somebody using Instagram filters actually, to me, makes it seem like they're more real because they're not concerned about appearing real.
Right.
And real people use Instagram filters all the time. That's kind of how I would look at it. But they do not think that she looks real. Major catfish vibes with these filters and just the way that the photos look.
Major catfish vibes, babe. Yeah.
How do you feel about Chloe?
Chloe has grown on me.
There you go.
Oh my god. said gold. Yeah, I did not like her in the first episode or two, but I love that she understands that, like, it can be boring to watch people sitting in a bedroom all day, so she decides to make everything the most important thing in the world.
Yeah.
So she's screaming, she's throwing her unicorn around. I love when she thinks that deciding whether or not to reveal that she thinks the hot guy is hot is the biggest deal in the entire world. It's the source of the greatest dramatic tension that anyone could ever imagine. So I think she's really fun. But she definitely gets major catfish vibes with Terralisha.
Yes, her photos, she has the hashtag in one of them. Hashtag will put anything in my mouth, which she says, if you want to know that this means I'm a massive foodie.
Yeah, everybody knows that girls who look like Chloe just are constantly eating sandwiches. That is her primary interest, and I definitely found that caption less gross than the one of her basically in lingerie with hashtag women empowerment. Which, listen, I don't want this to get clipped and to get misconstrued. You can absolutely empower women and take photos of yourself in lingerie. They just have nothing to do with each other.
She's just trying to put all of her interests, all four of her interests, into the two photos.
Which is lingerie, sandwiches, women empowerment, and BJ's. I don't know what the fourth one is.
Kat says that she thinks Lance is being played by a woman. Another random gender guess here.
Wait, who says that?
Kat.
Oh, well.
Yes,
I mean, I also just think that, like, if you're a big enough fan to catfish as Lance Bass, you're probably a woman.
It's
Just
probably
based on the demo of boy band fans. Wait, hang on. Before we move on, I do want to go back to Emily's personality is too different from her photos. What? She's posing in a bikini in the photo, and her personality is like, what, nice? Do they expect her to be like, no, I was expecting her to be at church in her photo and in a patch of sunflowers.
She talks about wine so much, I would not expect her to be in a bikini.
Yeah, literally no part of Emily's photos, I think, are not in line with her personality. Are they just like, she's nice, so she can't also be hot on the internet?
I mean, it is important to remember that there's a lot that we're not seeing, but yeah, from what we've seen, I don't fully get that.
It's just Jack in private conversations, like, I would never wear a bikini.
Yeah.
It's not me at all.
Bikinis, come on. It's all about the one pieces. So we get, there was not nearly enough surprise, in my opinion, at this, that all of a sudden, Kat's photos show up, and everyone's like, oh, look, it's someone new.
She's got great teeth.
Oh, we've got new players. How lovely.
Yeah.
What? What kind of surprise is this? They were clearly either prepared, or they just suspected, or this was like a retake. There's something went wrong here.
A retake. Yeah, sorry guys, our camera battery died. We're gonna do this reveal again.
But the real star here is that Mitchell has chosen to include a photo of his buns.
Yeah, I could see you kind of going through a Rolodex of words there.
Well, they use so many different euphemisms for this.
So many, most of them food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Buns, cakes, cheeky, leg day, peach.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is not a bad move. I think a huge amount of people in the circle are of the attracted to men persuasion, regardless of their gender. So, and it's also like, it's a way to show off your body in like a silly way, rather than just like posting a photo of your abs. Yeah, exactly. rather than just leaning back with your abs. So he's got his booty out, jumping off of some kind of cliff.
Yeah, and this is why Chloe amuses me. She about 5 minutes ago was saying how Trevor, marry me already. When is this gonna happen?
When are we getting married?
And then she sees Trevor's photo. She sees Mitchell's photo. And I would like for you to say it if you can.
What did she say?
Trevor who?
Trevor who? Literally, because you don't know his last name. And she says again, Mitchell, when we getting married?
Exactly.
Yeah. Chloe's ready to settle down.
Absolutely, she's ready to settle down. And
At 21, she's ready to settle down.
And then
based
settle
on
down
abs
again.
alone. Yeah.
And then again.
Yeah.
So we go into the circle chat. It's mostly just introductions here. Nothing that really stands out apart from the fact that Chloe does fairly publicly ask Mitchell, not super subtly, if he is single, she's not. Trevor's like, whoa, don't be stealing my. I've invested too much in Chloe. She is my girl.
Yeah, poor whatever Trevor's real name is.
Yeah. And then Tara Alicia is just like, I'm not sure if Tara Alicia really is flirting here. It really just seemed like she was being nice. But Chloe is like, oh, Tara Alicia is flirting with Mitchell.
But Chloe's all about women's empowerment.
Well, as long as they're not flirting with the guy that she just met.
It's almost like she's a little bit disingenuous in her feminism. I don't know. Maybe the lingerie trench coat photo wasn't really about women's empowerment.
It was about lingerie trench coats, obviously.
Well, and I'm not going to say that that's not an important pillar of feminism. I had a whole semester on that in my women's studies degree.
My favorite part of this group chat was the most relatable thing that's ever happened to me on the circle, which is Mitchell being like, oh my god, these group chats are hard to follow.
You don't look so
Yeah.
good. Are you alright?
It's like, I'm so young, but how are you guys reading and processing this so quickly?
Yeah, just like, oh, this is a lot. Like, I just got asked like 5 different questions and the conversation has already changed.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got so much else to do in the circle, so I feel like if your only activity was to read the group chat, Taryn, you would be caught up on the group chat.
That is very true. That is very true. We're gonna get into some private chats finally. Not that many private chats in this episode, but we're gonna get a few here at the tail end. Trevor is gonna start a chat with Kat and Tara Alicia. And basically just ask for some sort of advice. Play into the sort of like single father role, and ask for like what is your BBQ mantra? Which I love the Terry just what is your barbecue mantra?
I read the same thing and was like, wow, it actually would have been amazing if somebody had been like, I mix spicy mayo and barbecue sauce, and I make an amazing spread, because then everybody would have been like, that's a catfish, because she doesn't know this, like, black girl thing, even though they are all black people.
Yeah.
I love that Tara Alicia was like, BBQ. I also love that Tara Alicia is like, yeah, this conversation's all sweet or whatever, but this is not what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I want to talk alliances. So
Well, that's good. She's shrewd, because it does annoy me when, like, people will literally, like, just have one private chat and be like, oh my god, we both like music, and then be like, wow, that is my sister.
Yes,
like,
I'm completely with you.
It happens so much, so I like that Tara Alicia's like, okay, he's obviously trying to just, like, bond here, so let's talk game. But I'm happy that Trevor actually wants to work with Tara Alicia, and that he's not bitter over Savannah.
Yeah, that was surprising here. So, Kat is like, what have I missed? Loved hearing this conversation. Trevor's like, I don't know. I'm just a guy. I don't know gossip. And maybe Tara Alicia can fill you in. And Tara Alicia's like, how dare you? She says, the blocked player said some ugly things about me. But now she's gone, and so on and so forth. Kat did not like that answer because it did not mesh with what she was told by the Joker. But Trevor does like the answer. Trevor's like, you know what? She just put herself out there, and was vulnerable. Like, I appreciate that. And Terralisha says, Trevor, I know that you were close with her. I hope that you don't feel a certain type of way about me. And Trevor's like, nah, we are good. And Trevor meant it, and they were able to put it behind them, and they might be able to work together here. And Kat, who sees that maybe she didn't like Terralisha's answer, but she does see that Terralisha is probably at the bottom, which means that Terralisha will need people, which she sees as an opportunity, and so they agree to work together. I like this group.
I do too, and I also don't think that it's worth it for Kat to be too hung up on it, like not vibing with the Joker, because obviously some stories were going to clash. The Joker isn't going to be like, this person's terrible, and then have the people be like, yeah, I am terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, of course it's not going to jive with what the Joker said, so I hope that she doesn't get too hung up on that, because I think there definitely can be a phenomenon of like the first thing that you hear tends to be like what you base other information off of.
Yeah.
Same thing as like in Survivor, sometimes the last thing you hear can be the decision that you make. So I hope that they're able to take in like as much as they can before they make any decisions.
So
We're also going to get a group chat with Lance.
guess we'll send here.
Who talked to Chloe.
And that'll be it for tonight. Okay,
This
so
is such a
41,
weird
yeah.
combination of people. How was this pitched to the producers? I was like,
This
is the group chat I want.
That's it for
Chloe really does seem to
maybe
be
tomorrow.
a social butterfly in this game.
Yeah.
She